Ugh. Yo, Sheldon, what's up, my dude? Yeah, obviously I don't work tomorrow, but this is the last evening. These 9 days off are awesome, but as usual, they go by way too fast. And the other thing that sucks is this is my last vacation for probably the next 8 months. I won't get to do another one until my kids are um, ending summer vacation just before they go back to school. So that's usually in August. And then Comic-Con, if I go, which I'm planning to, the local one, that's in September, so I'll take time off then. But January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, like I can't take any time off. Well, I mean, I could, but I choose not to for my job because it's it's the busy season and it just makes life harder on my team. I'm kind of the leader of my group and I don't want to leave anybody stranded without help. So I try to have the vacation time happen towards the end of the busy season.
This holiday season, Paleo Valley's Superfood Golden Milk is buy one, get one free. It only uses the best ingredient.
Shaky cam, shaky cam. Um, I know that David Finch has done live streams. Um, I I'm pretty sure I follow his. It's YouTube, right? Um, I haven't seen any of them pop up in quite a long time. I'll have to double check that I'm still following him. I mean, I feel like I'm certain I would be, but because yeah, I've seen them pop up before. It has been a minute. Just no, I haven't seen them. So yeah, I'll have to double check on that. Reminds you of a Rob Liefeld style. I mean, I guess if you like him, that would be a compliment. But thank you. If you're seeing something that you think looks cool, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Like an early Youngblood cover. I mean, I can see that. Kind of a bunch of characters standing around, flexing, posing, getting to fight, getting ready to fight who knows what. Needs more pockets, like pouches and stuff. You know, there are no visible feet either. So there's another connection. Though that's actually not a Liefeld thing anymore. He that hasn't been a thing from him in years. But it's a thing that people rag on him for that's just not really true. You like how Liefeld draws screamy faces? Yeah, Mitch draws really good screamy faces. Mind Ben Gone says, "Do I have a preferred pen brand?" If you're talking about tools to ink with, we're talking about pens to ink with because I use a wide variety of stuff, including nibs and brushes and stuff like that. But my current thing that I like is this Tombow is the brand. Tombow, I don't even know how to pronounce this. Furendo Suke? I don't know. These are pretty cool. They work pretty dang well, and I know some professionals that use them, so my top comic book artists, that can vary depending on the day, but I would list Mark Silvestri, Adam Hughes, Joe Madureira, J. Scott Campbell, Jim Lee. McFarlane and Liefeld have both done stuff that I really, really, really like. But one of them doesn't draw comics at all anymore, and the other one won't stop. I did see a McFarlane Battle Beast cover. I didn't get a chance to stare at it for very long, but it looked pretty awesome. I mean, McFarlane can draw, like, no doubt. I also saw him doing a Spider Man cover, which was just basically a redo of the exact same pose of the last, I want to say, the cover to the last Spider Man issue he drew. Kind of curious as to what that actually was for. That Battle Beast is a hell of an awesome comic. I've been enjoying that quite a bit. I was even trying to get my son. I'm like, you might like this, my son. JoJo is an Invincible crossover with Spider-Man. Yeah, but was it just a cover, just a single image? I just want to see McFarlane draw comics again. And I don't believe for a second that he's actually drawing, which I mean, it's what I want, but yeah. Mr. Pritchard. Yeah, you think it was just a cover? That's kind of what I thought. I mean, Farlane's got an empire to run and a movie to never get made. He's a busy man. Sheldon, you're taking care of your dog and drawing comics for the foreseeable future. That sounds like a not a bad life. Uh, Jojo, these are old characters of mine that I don't have anything that I'm going to do with them anymore, but I wanted to redraw them. I took last night, I took an old drawing that I did that was crappy, and I light boxed it and I retraced the figures and kind of tried to tighten it up and make them a little bit more interesting, just to redraw my old characters for fun, just to draw, to exercise the artistic hand and skills and such. Todd, guess what's coming up tomorrow, Todd? Christmas in July. It's actually uploading right now. I just recorded it before I started talking. There's not going to be any uh like like in the previous one. I had some cut scenes of stuff. It's just me talking about it like old school traditional way that I do all my others. It's about 40 minutes long. But I was lazy earlier today, and then I took my kids out to go do some fun stuff this evening. Then I had some stuff to do when I got home, and so I'm like, it's getting late. I got to go record something for tomorrow. I've got to get it done because I didn't have anything queued up. So, you know, Todd's Transformer comic it is. Yeah. Book two just wasn't worth the effort, right? In a way, I think I might like book two better than book one, just for the idea that you've kind of got everything in motion that you set out to do. So there's less setup, and we just get to get into the meat of the story. And being someone who's very familiar with the animated Transformer movie and how things get to from the cartoon to where they start out in the movie, it's kind of fun to see you filling in those gaps and just kind of get going on the story, you know? And then, of course, I had to tell everybody, I'm like, okay, now that we've got through book two and we're setting up for the climactic conclusion of this vast and epic story, I have bad news. There's no book three. So everyone sent Todd a bunch of money his way. And maybe he'll finish book three. Oh, don't worry, Todd. This time I couldn't remember the name of fucking Cosmos. I sit there staring at this little fat, round, dumb space shuttle flying saucer ass. and I just could not remember his name. And I did eventually. Right in the middle of a conversation, I'm talking about something else. Cosmos isn't even on the page, but it just popped into my mind. I'm like, fuck, Cosmos. I go back and point at him. That's his name. God damn it. Um, it There's always going to be one of these goddamn Transformers, because you've got several characters in there that I don't know who they are, but Cosmos is one of those I absolutely know, but the name just is gone. It's just out of my head. Ari, you finally read the first 6 issues of the Transformers. You talk about that new Daniel Warren Johnson series thing. I think that's in the first collection, right? That's the one that I actually reviewed on the channel not too long ago. Yeah, I found that to be really entertaining stuff. But yeah, Ari, if you're a fan of Transformers, if you haven't already, check out my video. It's on there. 2 months ago, month and a half, something like that. I reviewed an indie comic by the guy in the chat right there by the name Ray Jin 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 Jin. Um, yeah, but he did a fan comic. Again, if you're a fan of Transformers, and he's bridging the gap of missing information from the original 80s cartoon and the movie. And the next, his volume 2 of his book is going to be up on the channel tomorrow, unless YouTube blocks it for some reason, which they should. There's no reason why they would. It's not like there's any questionable content or anything. Oh, look, there's so and so. Yeah, that's what it is. I'm like, who's Fear Swoop? I'm like, I don't know that guy. But I was like, I trust Todd. I'm pretty knowledgeable on the Transformers, but it ends at the cartoon, the extended lore of various comics and stuff. No. Oh, Ari, dude, I did too. I was so what it came out, what was it, 86? So I was 9. If I'm remembering the year it come out. Yeah, dude, I was born in 77, so I'm old school Transformers fan, and Todd's right there with us. We're all a bunch of old men playing with children's toys. But yeah, if you like the animated movie and Transformers and you want to see a fan talk about all the unanswered questions that happened in between the cartoon and the animated movie, Todd, right here in the chat, right here with us, he has done 2 issues of a comic that is addressing that and explaining it. And yeah, the movie's awesome, dude. I could probably quote the movie line for line right here. And especially if I had somebody who knew it with me, we were bouncing, each one taking, you know, saying one line, I could follow up. I could probably quote the entire movie. I was thinking about it. In terms of movies I've seen the most, I think it might be the Transformers animated movie is quite literally the movie I've seen more than any other ever. I struggle to think of any other movie I've seen as many times over the course of my life. If I had to think about other movies that maybe I've seen the most, Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, those are all kind of. I tend to not watch one without watching all the others. The James Cameron Aliens, Um, God, there, I've just seen it so many times. And as morbid as it sounds, like I can imagine myself being an old invalid man on my deathbed, and the only thing that I want to comfort me is to just something that reminds me of my childhood when I was young and happy and vibrant. And I'm like, I can imagine myself telling somebody, just play the Transformers animated movie on repeat nonstop until I die. If I'm like slowly croaking and on my way out, just put that shit on and I will have that music playing, making me happy, watching those characters that meant everything to me as a kid. RoboCop. Are you saying that that's the movie you've seen the most of, Mitch? That would be one of the high ones for sure. Certainly not for me, the one I've seen the most, but that would be in the pile of, yeah. Dare to keep all your dreams alive. Like, I'm not kidding. Whenever I feel bad or I feel down or I just feel not myself, I'll play the fucking animated Transformers soundtrack. And every track on those, especially the rock ballads, make me happy. I get excited and I feel better. It may not be perfect, but I feel better. Mitch, while I'm thinking about it, I was going to message you, but hell, you're right here. Um, RoboCop is my favorite movie. Define your life. I thought it was Transformers, Todd. Um, Teen Wolf, Mitch. I've seen that a bunch of times. Oh my God, Teen Wolf with Boof and Styles and Chubby. Um, Mitch, you were saying that people could throw out pinups for your book. Um, do they need to be in color? Because I've got that one that I did. Um, whether you liked it enough to want to include it, I don't know, but it's only black and white because I don't color. Okay, because I dug it out and I was like, well, I got to scan this thing. And okay, that'd be awesome. I appreciate it. I mean, I I don't want to assume anything and put you on the spot. And also, I put a note in the package I sent you, Mitch, with my books, where I say you absolutely don't have to review my He-Man comics on your channel, but I mean, I actually take that back. You do have to, but only under one condition. You just got to be honest about it. You got to be brutally honest. They are old works, and it's not perfect, but I'd love to hear your just honest thoughts on it. It'd be a treat for me. Fair's fair.
It looks doggone good.
Because I started those books, I'm talking, fuck, 16 years ago. So, there's some gap in between time of stuff I was doing. So, Doodle-doo-doot. You don't have high hopes for the new movie, but you hear the new He-Man look is spot on to the original cartoon. Yeah, I, I mean, it's so hard to judge without being able to see anything of any substantial value. Like behind the scenes stuff don't really mean anything. But based on the slop that Hollywood seems to be putting out, I mean, like, why? Why in the hell are they taking the new He Man movie and sending him to fucking Earth again? It's like, stop. Just put him on his own planet. If you make compelling characters and interesting storylines, people don't give a shit. He doesn't have to be on Earth going to find, a future member of the cast of Friends and eating a bucket of chicken. Like, we don't need that. But we'll see. He won't be wielding the Eye of Thunder. Yeah, right. Main worry is that from what you read, it leans into comedy. Yeah, it shouldn't be. For me, I want to see it like Lord of the Rings fantasy, like serious. You know, there's monsters, there's villains. Um, yeah, I don't want to see a funny He-Man show. Yeah, there's a Dolph Lundgren He-Man movie. Like, if you just forget of it as being a He-Man movie and just kind of enjoy it as like a weird science fiction fantasy B grade canon films bullshit, it's kind of okay. Saw RoboCop when you were 8. See, for me at eight, I almost said 8 o'clock. At the age of 8, that's when I found this stuff to be the most fascinatingly awesome. Yes, technically, I would agree. I'm like, a kid this young probably shouldn't be watching RoboCop, but holy crap, did I love that type of stuff. I'm like, yeah, this is what I want to see. Mitch, so you love RoboCop, right? You're saying, have you seen? I've probably asked you this before. Forgive me. Have you seen that fan movie of the part where RoboCop rescues the girl from the two thugs and he shoots the guy in the dick? But the extended fan made version? I've probably asked you this. Verhoeven made fun of American action movies so hard he accidentally made the best one. That is true. Um, oh, Mitch, you've got to see it. It's so funny. I mean, it is absolutely adult content, but just imagine endless swarms of guys coming with their pants down, and Robocop just has to keep shooting guys in the dick. He eventually ends up with a gun in each hand. It's an overhead shot with his arms out side by side, and he's just walking in a circle, shooting everywhere, just blowing guys' dicks off. It's the funniest thing. Um, like, I can't believe somebody made this, and the effects are good. Like, it's all practical, like exploding squib rubber dicks everywhere. It's the greatest. It's the greatest addition to a movie from a fan ever. Todd, you saw Evil Dead and RoboCop the same day. I don't remember what the name is. I just kind of do a generic Google search and search videos, and obviously you're not going to find it on YouTube. It's on, I don't know, somewhere else. But somebody did a bit of genius. Predator or Commando or any Arnold Schwarzenegger movie in the 80s. Yeah, Schwarzenegger was the king for a long stretch. Predator trumps any other Arnie movie. To me, it's Terminator 2. It's always going to be the best. But Predator's like right there. If Terminator 2 is perfect 10, then Predator's like a 9.9, a 9.8 for me, slightly under. But it's just to me like that, it was peak Schwarzenegger. Ironically, I've got Terminator 2 music playing right now. You know what's awesome is as a kid, I didn't understand, so Terminator come out in 80 whatever, so I was just a young kid. But I'm like, before I knew what it was, I thought of Terminator as a horror movie in the same way as like Freddy or Jason or any of those things. Because what I saw of it when I like my parents would watch it, and I'd catch bits and pieces of it. I thought it was a horror movie. Yeah, 84. So yeah, and so I'm like, this is scary. This is a horror movie, and I thought it was a really interesting, play on the genre, having the supernatural killer is a freaking robot. And then I think that they were intentionally leaning into that, like making it feel like that, especially the part where the Schwarzenegger Terminator. Yeah, it basically, yeah, I know, I get it. But when I think of Terminator, I think of science fiction, um, future robots, that type of shit. But that scene when the Schwarzenegger T 800 or whatever the hell they are, he goes and finds that first Sarah Connor. He's like, Sarah Connor. She's like, yes. And then it like turns in like slow motion. He slams the door open and it's slow motion and he pulls the gun out. I'm like, this is terrifying. This is a horror movie. Yeah, spiritually a horror movie for sure. A slasher film. Adam Brooks, what's going on, my dude? And then they keep trying to milk those first two movies with all these goddamn terrible Terminator sequels. And some of them have interesting parts, and most of them have like interesting special effects and stuff. But it's like, guys, the story was over. It's done. All you can do is fuck it up. Kind of like the Aliens franchise with James Cameron. Like they keep trying to take James Cameron perfect sequels and continuing them because there's money to be made. Like Aliens 3 just ruined the shit out of that. And then everything Terminator sequel has been not a fraction as good as the originals. Yeah, but Mitch, but do they make money? They've all kind of bombed. Or if not bombed, not done nearly as good as they wanted it to do. Because they did T3, and that was like whatever. And then they did Terminator Salvation, but that was a non starter. So then they did Terminator. I can't remember, was it Dark Fate or and then Terminator Genesis, whichever one was first, but they were all like trying to continue, but they never did continue because they were never like solid hits. I did watch the TV show Sarah Connor, and I thought the first season was like a really solid sequel. Um, I think I watched all of it, but I think by season two they just lost their way. But the first season with Summer Glau, um, I was like, this is not a bad sequel. This I'm kind of okay with. Yeah, Ari, one of the scariest shots is at the end when the stop motion exoskeleton is walking down the hallway. Like people who've never seen those movies will look at that shot and kind of laugh at how janky it is, but that's part of its charm. Yeah, that's fair. Salvation isn't a bad movie. It's just not a good Terminator movie. That's fair. That I can get on board with for sure. Todd, you Alien 3 is terrible. All right, I'll clarify. It's terrible in that they took the heart and soul of the previous movie and slaughtered it the first thing out the gate. And that is what I was instantly fucking done with the movie within the first 10 minutes. You know, they destroy Bishop, they kill Hicks, they drown Newt. I'm like, everything that these guys just went through, everything they fought for and went through hell for, and you just off them. I'm like, what was the point of the second movie? If you subtract that, it's a well constructed movie. David Fincher is a great director. I love his work. Um, but I think he was even pissed with the cut that he was kind of forced on him. So I'm out. And then I get them kind of killing Ripley at the end, like it's her character's journey's end. I guess we're trying to good Todd. I get that they're trying to imply that there's no such thing as a happy ending in the universe with the xenomorphs. And I guess that's fair, but I'm no. I was just I saw it with my brother because I have watched. We were talking about movies that I've seen more than anything ever. And I put up Aliens as one of those movies that's a definite contender for the movie I've seen more than any other. It's certainly not the one I've seen more than any other, but it's close. So I could quote that movie line for line. I've listened to the score, the soundtrack, a million times more than I've seen the movie, and they just fucking ripped the heart and soul out of it. And I'm like, you guys suck. Todd, oh man, I cannot disagree more. Don't rely on what came before. Like, then what's the point of having a narrative? You know, there's a scene in Fight Club where they magnetically wipe a row of blockbuster videos, and Fincher made it a whole wall of Alien 3. I have never pieced that together. That is hilarious. Oh, that makes that scene even more funny. I remember the scene, but I never paid attention to what it was. I kind of wish there was a time. I mean, they could have screwed this up too, but there was that director, Neil Blomkamp, something like that. And he wanted to come along and make a sequel to Aliens, just ignoring Aliens 3, bringing back Ripley and Hicks and everything, and doing what he felt was a proper movie. And from what I remember reading, Sigourney Weaver was on board. She wanted to do it, but then the studio was like, no, we're going to give creative control back to fucking, what's his name? Is it Richard Donner that did the original one? And he went off and made, what was it, Prometheus? And I like Prometheus, but I'm like, ugh, that was another like just muddied the waters more than it helped. Ridley Scott, right? God, Jesus, not fucking Richard Donner. Jesus Christ, that's fucking Superman. I've listened to the score of Aliens 3. I like that a lot. Yeah, but thanks, guys. Yeah, Ridley Scott. I So that's another kind of that ship is sailed kind of situation where they maybe could have done a sequel. But again, they could have butchered that too for all we know. So because they kept making all those Terminator movies, like this is a direct sequel to Terminator 2. We're going to ignore everything that came before. Okay. And then it sucked. So they're like, okay, this movie is now a direct sequel to Terminator 2. The other ones didn't happen. So they make it and it sucked. I'm like, all right, guys, fucking put the Terminator toys down. They're done. I don't think there's anywhere else to go with Terminator. The story's told. All you can do is undo everything. I actually like Prometheus as a movie. The vibe of everything, the effects, the characters, it I think it's a good movie. But it just kind of like it muddies the waters on the franchise. You're like, well, how does this factor into what timeline? How does this fit with Aliens? How does this fit with it doesn't make sense, but as a movie, I actually really dig it. So yeah, I'm I pissed off Todd. Todd, my brain shut off. It's the same thing with the character in your book, Prowl and Cosmos. I can't if I can't remember the name, I remember the wrong one. Um, yeah, see, Adam Brooks doesn't like Prometheus. I like it. It's really visually interesting and got some interesting. If it just wasn't a fucking aliens movie, yeah, it's kind of a shame that Furlong didn't get to be in a movie again, but he kind of looks like he kind of sent his life down the crapper for a long time. We do not. Mitch says, no, we do not. That was one of the things I liked about that. Was it Genesis or Dark Fate, where they had that fucked up beginning where Sarah Connor and John Connor as a kid, like the versions of them from T2, they de-aged them and had the Terminator walk up and shoot the kid in the chest and he takes off. I'm like, those de-aging effects looked pretty good. I'm like, oh, that's okay. Yeah. Yeah, once you come up with a liquid Terminator came into the picture, you can't come up with a more threatening one. That's kind of true, I guess. They did the thing where they combined the liquid and the exoskeleton, and I felt like that was kind of an attempt that had some potential. Combine the two. And I think in the last one, where they could actually separate and be two separate entities, like one exoskeleton machine and then one liquid metal version, there's something there, but they just don't get the story right. None of these chuckleheads have what James Cameron had, which he's then gone and pissed it down the Avatar toilet. That being said, I'll probably be there opening day to watch a new fucking Avatar movie just for the visuals and the experience and then to never watch it again. The new Running Man, Adam, I haven't seen that at all. I haven't heard anything about it. AJT Comics, what is up? You know what? You know what's dumb? Here's a dumb thought that I had. They kind of explained in Prometheus what the space jockey was. They call them the engineers. For some reason in my head as a kid, and this is kind of what I always thought, is I always thought that the space jockey as seen in the original Aliens movie was a creature to be sympathized with because it was just a creature that had these goddamn xenomorphs impregnate or whatever them, and he died because of it. And this was just like another race that succumbed to the horrors of the xenomorphs. But then we get introduced to them, and they're these even more horrible creatures. So in my head, they were kind of supposed to be sympathetic creatures, and now they're just another monster. Yeah, everything after the first two Terminators might as well be non-canon. And except I'll take season one of the Sarah Connor Chronicles. Like I was saying, we were talking, I kind of was okay with that for the most part. And then the sequel to Prometheus, what was it? Alien whatever the fuck. Again, there were interesting visuals and effects and really scary horror scenes, but what a bunch of dummies. Didn't any of these characters like watch Star Trek? You don't go down to an alien planet and then just take off your mask and just breathe the air and just assume everything's fine because it has like a nitrogen oxygen atmosphere. Like there's microbes in the air that'll kill you. Oh, that's exactly what happened. They breathed in these little things that exploded weird alien creatures out of their bodies. Covenant, yeah. AJT Comics. At least I can draw hands and feet. Well, I mean, to be fair, there's not a single foot to be seen on this page anywhere, but I've conveniently positioned them behind everybody. So, but at least there are hands. Yeah, Covenant. Again, it had interesting ideas and some scary horror scenes. And like the scenes between Fassbender's two different versions of the android, like where they were showing each other how to play the instrument and the kind of the philosophical back and forth between them, and the way that Fassbender even played them both with like different kind of like dialects. Trying feet is for suckers. Like, they sound like they were obviously the same um, model, but different programming. And I thought Fassbender killed it. Like that stuff was riveting. Like that was really interesting. But once again, you're like, where does this fit into canon anywhere? It's all so convoluted. And I'm not even going to get started on the new TV show. Crap, now we got to start drawing hands and feet? What kind of world have we come to here? There's an awesome book of David's drawings, like a book you can get. Because I remember, now that you mention it, right, I remember there was like a book that he was doing drawings of. Isn't that where they kind of showed that he dissected what's her name, the girl from the first one, Prometheus? That scene in Prometheus where she was in the medical bay tube thing and she had the machine pull the slug out of her. That was one of the best scenes, like, in the entire movie. Like that was some cinematic genius. That was horrifying and desperate and creepy. um I did kind of find it unrealistic how they cut her open and then they sealed her back up and stitched her shut. And she was like within an hour out running around from the giant donut alien ship trying to run her over, and she's out running. I'm like, didn't she just have her guts cut open like less than an hour ago? I mean, whatever, right? But that scene was really intense. I'm like, holy shit. They did that one really good. Ari, I'm gonna have to look that up. That sounds really interesting. Like the art of the crazy shit that the android David had in the movie. That sounds interesting. Surgeries are getting better these days. Now a chick can get her guts all taken out and that evening be back in her Pilates class. I don't know if that's something to be applauded or scared of. I had a dermatologist doctor cut on my face about a month ago, and they had something that they saw on my cheek that they wanted to get taken off and get into the lab and checked out for cancerous potentials. And apparently, unfortunately, I'm perfectly fine. I'm going to live a long, healthy life. Well, maybe not a long, healthy life, but it wasn't anything. But it was kind of weird to go in there and have them cut my face open and stitch it back up and just like, okay, out the door. We just removed a bunch of flesh from your face. Leave this bandage on for 2 days and then off you go. Get out of our office. Um, I've heard of Kablam. I'm not sure what it is. I guess if you were to ask me that, I would have said, isn't it like a place to print them? Because I get my stuff done at Comic Wellsprings, like my boy Todd here in the chat with his Transformers book. That's where I get mine printed up. But I just am looking to have a place print them, not so much as try to. I don't know. That's all I ever kind of thought about is just I needed a place to be able to print them at a reasonable cost, and Comic Wellsprings has been pretty awesome. Um, their customer service is very helpful, and I've had nothing but positive experiences with them so far. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's a printer. That's what I thought. But yeah, Wellsprings is. I'm just familiar with them, and so I've just kind of just been with them. In fact, I had to reorder copies of my Volume 6. I sold the last one that I had. I'm kind of curious, Mitch, as how it's going to go for you when you get your books printed up and you got to ship them out, but you're going to be shipping them, I assume, many of them to the States. And how did you figure like shipping costs and stuff like that if it's out of country? Because I just sent that package to you and I had to fill out a whole other form that I'd never had to do before. And feels like it could get frustratingly convoluted. No, Mitch, I ordered more. I only had ordered originally 25 copies of my final volume, and I finally moved the last one outside of the one reader copy that I keep for myself. And I would, I'd sell it to somebody if I needed to, but I've flipped through my copy so many times it's no longer like fresh. So, um, so I got your copies in the mail, and then I got Sheldon, if he's still in the chat. I got his in the mail, And then there's another fella who bought a full set, and I told him, I said, you know what? I just sold the last copy I have, so you're gonna have to wait for me to get in the next batch, which is they confirmed the shipment, and it's on its way. Okay, Mitch, you shipped art out to the States not too long ago. It wasn't too complicated. Well, that's good. Todd, let's all make a combined book showcasing all of our works in one Kickstarter, like a sampler. You mean like just a couple of pages from all our books? Or like completed works? You know, Mitch, I don't know if I mentioned it to you. I think we talked one time, and we were, because I've mentioned it to some of the other guys on the live streams a couple times. Kind of how one time I think I mentioned it to you as like a gag, but also kind of serious. Like we should do a crossover one of these days. And down the road when time's appropriate, which could be a while, I get. 8 pages of screaming and bullet casings flying around. But yeah, Mitch, I was thinking because I was kind of toying. I wanted to I've kind of thought I'd want to title my book Excessive Force. I had a different title in mind, which I'm still keeping as like a secondary, like second title, like a it's going to be Excessive Force and the Tech Base Raiders. But I'm like, if we did a crossover, we could do Excessive Blood Force, and it would just kind of like write itself. You'd be willing to give it a shot. I bet it would be way fun. Because by that time I would, in theory, have hopefully had a successful crowdfunder myself, and you already have, and people might be interested in a. And so what I was thinking, Mitch, again, I'm just spitballing ideas here. Um, Let me find the art. Um, Bear with me. Because I've got these characters that are the bad guys for my book, that these guys are going to be called the Excessive Force guys. God, where the hell? There's got to be a way to get cleavage into that time. Okay, it's got to be in this pile. Oh, there's the one I got to scan for you. But anyway, I've got this stupid team of mine. These 4 guys: Kill Snap, Tumor, War Whore, and Laserfag. I thought that it would be funny in my brain is if these guys went up against Blood Force, but your guys just kick the piss out of my dudes and even kill them. Because who cares about the continuity of it? They could just show back up alive in my next book, and who cares? Like, it doesn't matter. But these are characters that I have no emotional connection to. I don't care if they get their asses kicked. They're just a bunch of goofballs I've created to have get to fight, because my the one that the book that I'm doing now is just like a bunch of like what's the craziest shit I could come up with. But I kind of like the visuals of them, and I keep drawing them. Like I've drawn that one, and 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 I've drawn that one. And I just thought it would be funny to me as if they ran into your crew, and there could be some good fighting back and forth, but in the end, your guys just mop up my dudes and let the humor write itself. They could even look at each other and go, how have we never ran into each other before? Is this some bullshit universe crossover thing? This is stupid. And then they just start fighting, or I don't know. Mitch, that's kind of how Blood Force got started. But I think it'd be funny because a lot of times these crossovers, it has to be balanced. Or like when X-Men met up with the Teen Titans, they had to like each team had to have their ups and downs, and the other team had to have their ups and downs. They all got to be balanced. I'm like, just have Blood Force wipe the floor with my guys. It doesn't have to be 100% one-sided all the time, but in the end, my guys just lose terribly, and your guys are sitting there like, well, that was stupid. Next stream is, well, thanks. I had a hot internet girl's body online that I found. I kind of used as reference and tried to make her look as hot as I could. So anyway, Mitch, for an idea down the road, whenever the time is right, no rush, obviously, for multitudes of reasons, but I just kind of keep going over it in my head. I'm like just coming up with the most ridiculous, funniest stuff we could come up with. And you know, there's at least a small audience we know would be interested. I think I could probably find somebody to color this up if the book's going to be printed in color anyway. Excessive cleavage of blood force. Well, that's what I was kind of thinking, because I was, because I was thinking of, because originally I was just going to do tech base raiders because that's funny and I still want to keep it, but then I thought of excessive force. I'm like, oh, that rhymes with X force, but excessive force, and then I'm like, oh, just add the blood in the middle in the crossover, and then we just make whatever insane craziness. Just have the back cover just be nothing but dripping blood. Wasn't that on was it What's that secondary title that Liefeld had? He had Youngblood, and then he had Brigade, Bloodstrike. And there's something about Rub the Blood on the cover. I was like, what are we supposed to rub the blood for? Is there like we just is there supposed to be a texture thing that you can feel? Oh, right. It was supposed to be some kind of heat response. Yeah, I was like, I didn't know that until just recently. Something different. I'm like, what the hell are we supposed to? I'm not going to dig out my one crappy copy of Bloodstrike or whatever the hell and start rubbing it, hoping that it does something interesting because of the friction. Got too much of that stuff going on in my private time as it is. With the title alone, I believe you guys have a tens of hundreds of dollars. Tens of hundreds. Yeah, I've never heard the rub the blood thing fully explained. It doesn't make any sense. But what do I know? That's an accurate prediction. Yeah, I think you're onto something there. We, we should come up with some kind of gag with the rub the blood, but have some character, like some male character, standing there with like his pelvis thrust forward and his junk just like dead center, and there's like a rub the junk or something like like that. Rub the junk. You're supposed to sit there and just like, what does it do? You're like nothing. You're just rubbing his dick. I, I mean, we don't really do that, but just it sounds funny. Rub the junk. Oh my god. It could be a variant cover. We'll do a rub the junk variant cover. Some white splotches fired around it. Oh, like take that, Liefeld. Oh god, just for personal edification. Uh, the more I think about it, the more I laugh. I must be tired. Rub the junk. So fucking stupid. Oh my god. Oh, okay. It's not that funny, Rob. Oh shit. Oh. It's a little funny. You're like, all right, Rob, all right, it's kind of tiny funny, but it's not like lose your shit funny. Like, bring it down a notch. It'd be a funny interior page like gag. Like maybe this is just a one-off that we do, but for like a gag issue 2, we'll have the cover mocked up and it has the rub the junk gag going on it. Yeah, it is 1 in the morning where I'm at. So, oh, my kids are in the other room. They probably hear daddy laughing like a cuckoo clock. Like, dad's in there making stupid jokes online again. It's like, can we just go home to mom where it's normal? Yeah, Mitch, I had to get in here and record a video for tomorrow. First thing, I did it before I got on. I had to like, it's getting late. I got to record a thing. I had to tell my son, I got to go record a video. So I did it first, but I'm gonna be done here in just a minute. It's late and I'm losing my mind. Just sucks that my vacation's over. This is my last free night. Anything's possible when it comes to sea. Thanks, Mitch. I'll catch you. Catch you later. Excessive blood force. C stands for comics. We will see. Get it? I get it. Okay. Gross. Never mind. Yeah, I think I'm going to shut down. I think I've reached my limit. It's a fun hour and almost a half, so not bad. So I am going to be done as well. Scan this tomorrow for Mr. Mitch. All right, anybody who's still hanging out, I'm out of here. So thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. Yep, thanks, Sheldon. I'll catch you next time.